I hype you.
Is it time to get hyped?
Time to get hyped.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of We Talking About. Today, we're talking about Season 7, Episode 2, The Walking Dead.
I took notes.
He's got notes. All right, so where's this episode start?
It starts and ends with Carol and fucking Morgan.
Who called that shit?
Did we call that?
I was like, I said, next week, what do you think's going to happen? I'm like, I bet you it'll just be Carol and Morgan, and we see nothing else of the rest of the group.
Okay, because I literally was going to say, like, did I say it out loud? But I should have phrased it like, did we say it out loud, or like whatever. Because I wanted to know what happened to Carol and Morgan some, and we didn't get any of them during the first one. And then it was like, well, maybe the next one will just be, nothing but Carol and Morgan or whatever. And we'll find out about these motherfuckers. And it literally happened.
And then the next episode, it's only Alexandria. And our group isn't back yet.
Did you catch at the end of the thing, there's a little, like,
Purposely avoided it.
Next time on. Okay, we will end on that, though. You can leave. I will tell you what the next one's going to be.
All right, you prick.
But it's Carol and Morgan. She's on a car. Like, as you remember, Morgan unloaded a clip into the dude that was like stalking Carol after Carol was a big crybaby. I wrote down at some point, I think it's underlined, I hate Carol. I used to love Carol so much, but we'll get into it
Carol is a
on the show.
survivor against her own wants, I feel.
There's probably something beautiful and poignant in Carol, but I'm just really annoyed with her.
Okay.
I guess we'll explain that.
Sure.
Fucking she went out and she was, we don't have to be like this, and like shot the people and with her like hidden gun, but she's wounded, and then she leaves and the guy follows her, and then Morgan and Rick are looking for her, and Rick goes back, and then Morgan finds her, and he has to, Morgan, all life is precious, has to like unload a clip into the dude to stop him from killing Carol, because he's like, no, fuck you, I don't give a fuck, and all that stuff. Then two dudes wearing like fucking hockey gear show up, or
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey. What's the difference between you and me, Rick? I'm not wearing hockey pads. They're literally wearing some kind of horse and a spear, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And I think they might have said, like we're from the kingdom, and you thought Hilltop because you were like, are those Hilltop people?
I didn't think they said anything.
Yeah.
I could have sworn the first time we saw him that Rick was like, where, look at them. They got the weapons like they got in the Hilltop, or some shit like that.
Oh, okay. They stole some shit from some, okay. That
could I inferred that they were from the Hilltop from that statement, but apparently not. They are indeed from the kingdom.
Yeah, that threw me last time because I was like, they have horses there? Have we just not seen any horses? There were like 4 people at the Hilltop. But there's really more. They just only have a room for 4 on the show.
Yeah.
So Carol's on a cart. It falls over. It goes to shit. There's like zombies everywhere. I wrote down Carol goes crazy and starts seeing unbees.
Yeah.
It's like the zombiness
see them before.
It gets like flashed away for a second as everyone around her is murdering all these zombies. So I'm like, oh god, she's getting the look at the flowers disease where she thinks the zombies are people. Doesn't end up happening like that, but I was like, oh god, what's happening? And they eventually get to the kingdom.
Yes, and the kingdom
which is the new place.
is like what the Hilltop wants to be. I wonder if the Hilltop knows of the kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we know that the what do they call other people? The
saviors.
The saviors. We know the saviors know about everything.
Yeah.
As they should.
The kingdom's a strange place.
Like, the kingdom looks to be huge.
I know.
And I wonder just how many people are in the kingdom. It also made me wonder if the saviors have a town as well, and we've only just met their enforcers.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming that. I don't know.
Originally, I was like, they're just a group of enforcers. I didn't think there was anything else to them. Like, like we've talked about in the apocalypse, it's like, there's a bunch of type of people. There's preppers, and there's some people who just go out with a gun and steal from preppers.
Yes.
Like, and I was like, well, they're a whole group of that. But now I'm like, maybe there's more.
I feel more so the other way now that they're only these fucking dirtbag enforcer people.
But with the amount of food they're taking from at least 2 groups and now 3,
right?
Like 8 pigs with no ability to refrigerate, that's feeding a lot of people, or feeding a couple people a lot of fucking food. And they could jerky this and stuff, so it could last them longer, but it made me think that their group might be gigantic.
So they've hinted that there's a lot of them, but we saw a lot of them. Like, the show's weird, and I just made a comment about this, so it's time to expand on it. But like, there's times where it's like we're at the place, and they only have like a certain number of actors. Like, oh, we're at Terminus where there's 7 people, and you're like, why is this a problem? There's only 7 people. Just fucking do whatever. And I think sometimes on the show you're meant to have it be like implied that there's a lot more people. Like Alexandra, they were only showing a certain number of people, and then during that like finale, debut whatever episode, all of a sudden there were all these other people. And it's like, yeah, well, Bob's been helping us this whole time. And you're like, oh, fuck, okay. Like, the show's weird about how many actors they allow onto the show at certain times.
I would imagine a lot of that is to just be like, you can't let anyone that could sneak shit out. You want to be as tight-lipped about things as possible.
And you want to streamline the actual presentation because the show is about weird zombies and people. And you'd be all like, is that the zombie from that guy? Like, all this weird fucking shit. So, like, I see why they do it, but that's why I don't know. I don't know how we're supposed to interpret these fucking things.
And I would have assumed that they pick up food monthly, but he says in his pickup, we'll be back next week.
And it's produce week.
I'm like, all right, so how many different things could there be besides produce and meat? Is there a water week? What could there be? And so at the very least, you're coming once a week.
Yeah.
8 pigs is a fucking lot of food.
Well, pigs take a long time to turn into pigs you want to eat. So
that's the issue.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't even know if he's giving them pigs every 2 weeks or whatever.
No, but whatever he's giving them.
But again, those are the issues.
If that's the well, he says they're bigger than the last ones, meaning you gave us pigs at least one at a time.
At some point, yes.
And there could be wild pigs, and there could be this could be a huge facility. Who knows how many fucking things they're raising. And wild hogs in Georgia, I don't think, is an uncommon thing. Assuming they're still in Georgia.
Oh, God, where are they
I
now?
don't know.
I don't know either because they act like we're traveling so far, but whatever the fuck.
But traveling would just be difficult in Zombieland, so who knows?
Exactly.
Anyway,
it's hard to
I'm
pin
getting ahead
down
of myself.
things.
So
we go to the kingdom. We meet King Ezekiel. Do you remember when we were sitting there in the fucking stadium-style seating at the MSG Comic-Con preview whatever theater, and we saw like here's a sneak peek of season 7, and there's a fucking thing with a dude with dreadlocks and a tiger.
So
and we were like,
because we
what
only
is that?
saw him for like it was like a 30-second flash at Comic-Con. My mind painted him differently.
Me too.
And, so what did your mind paint you as?
I painted him as like a 6'4" tall, Jason Momoa type dude who like used to be a predator from the movie Predators, but he got hit with like a gun that turns you into a human or something like that. And he was atop a large Aztec temple with a bunch of fucking awesome shit going on, and this is like big grand thing, and this huge tiger and all this awesome shit happening.
Yes. So mine was a little
less
less
than
the
same.
That.
That can't be the same.
I painted him as like he looked like a fucking Zulu warrior to me.
Yeah, he was badass as fuck.
Like there was a lot more tribal, colorful things in my memory of him.
Yeah.
And I didn't take that background as a tapestry painting. I took that as like a real thing, and I thought it was like a dude like fucking like I'm a king of like some shit.
It actually in my head I'm like, well, there's no literal Aztec temples in like this part of America, but it probably used to be, and I'm trying to think like what could this have been? They're on the high ground, perfect for zombies to like defend against. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Had all this stuff in my head. He's in a shitty little theater.
Yeah.
It's like the shittiest and like littlest theater I've ever seen in my life, and they don't flatter it with their angles and their fucking cinematography.
No.
So Carol wakes up and Morgan's like, let's go see the boss, and he's like, let me just warn you, he does his own thing, just go with it. And she's like, okay, and then wheels her in and they talk.
He's got a fucking tiger.
Like, it is a fucking tiger. It's not like we're...
So, and they address this like later in the episode, but like when I first see the tiger, I'm like, he has a tiger.
Yep.
I'm like, a tiger eats like fucking 50, 60 pounds of meat a day or something? And I'm like, where are they getting that?
And not to mention some other show that we're not talking about, but did you watch iZombie first?
Yes.
Because so did I, because we have a weekly thing. And I watched them on the same night, I think same as you. So in my head, I'm like, is this just Carol, like, losing blood? Is this actually happening? But then I was like, okay, no, this is actually what's happening. But yeah, it just has a fucking, like, chain leash on it, and it fucking does some shit. And the CG was, like, not, like, shockingly good, but not shockingly bad. I was like, all right, this is a tiger. We're doing tiger stuff now. Okay. I wrote down, he talks like a fag and his shit's all retarded.
I was trying to place, I'm like, what could this possibly be?
Yep.
Like, why could you talk like that? What is happening? Do you think this is happening? And in my head, I was like, I can't wait till shit hits the fan to see if he loses that accent.
Me too.
And But it had me.
Okay. Why did it have you talk about that?
I was interested by. I like an interesting character.
Yeah.
He has the voice for this.
Yes.
And that's 90% of it. Is like you have the confidence to do this. And I was like, does it make sense? I love his like first bodyguard man dude.
Jeremy.
Jerry. So that dude like is like dressed the part, but is not doing it. So I was like, what's happening here?
No, because that was like the first thing. Because like the guys that rescue them don't say a whole lot, right? He's like, the fair maiden has arisen, and all this fuck. I'm like, what the hell is this? And yeah, I'm no fun. No, I was like, what is going on here? And then that guy is dressed the part and just goes like, just fucking do. All right, whatever, fuck. And he's literally like not doing it and kind of making a face like, yeah, this guy does this. I don't know. Like I was like, what is going on? What are we to think here?
Deuces.
The deuces later. I wrote that down. The deuces is like, it's fucking amazing shit. But Carol's reaction is like, this is amazing. Oh my God. I don't know what this is. It's wonderful. I have no idea. What? Okay. Like she's totally over the fucking.
Is that a tiger?
Oh, well, Shiva's doing is Shiva. Oh, is that the name? Okay. Like, just like, I must have died over there. This is fucking up or whatever the fuck. Which I could relate to that.
I predict that later on there's going to be an attack on their camp, and that fucking tiger's going to rip someone the fuck apart.
I feel like the tiger might play, well, okay, there's two ways to go with it. One way is it does something minor and then dies tragically, and it's like a horrible thing, which will probably be what they have to do. Because I don't think the tiger can end up, helping to kill Negan or something like that. That has to be like a story thing.
No, it's either. Well, if it does, it's in the sense that one of their men shoots and kills the tiger, and this enrages the king, and that's why Negan dies.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, like a motivational.
Or, which I'm hoping for, is like they break in, they come to like kill him while he's sleeping. I thought that was a myth. A fucking tiger like mauls some dude,
and it cuts to Negan. A tiger, something like that. And they're like, "Sir, we saw a tiger."
A tiger. Will suck on my nuts.
Suck my nuts. Did you hear they have a tiger? Oh, man. Pomegranates are too much trouble. I wrote that down.
They've got a tiger. Well, we've got a tank.
We've got a tank.
We've got a motherfucking tank.
I wrote down that pomegranates are too much trouble because I feel like we've talked about pomegranates before.
Do you even eat them? I feel like you just eat the seed and they throw the other shit away.
I've tried to eat, I think, a pomegranate literally once. I think it was parts of other food at like different points. And I remember, because sometimes you get like a new fruit, and you're like, okay, let's start opening this up and figuring out what parts I can eat. And I just kept doing that, and just had like a pile of stuff, and I'm like, there's nothing to eat here. What am I supposed to eat in this food? I'm like chewing myself. I'm like, you don't eat those. No. What else? This part? That tastes like no. And I just ran out of things. I don't know if I got a bad one, but
I've never actually opened a pomegranate myself. I've purchased the seeds because the seeds are pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what the meat of a pomegranate, that they look like they're just a potato fruit.
Yep, like a weird moon crater seed delivery system.
Yeah, no, I'm not down with that shit.
I figured you'd say that. That's why I made a note of that, because I was like, I feel like you would think that pomegranates are too much trouble. I
wouldn't even attempt it. Really, in the apocalypse, where I'm not sure if there's running water, if I don't have wet naps or the ability to clean myself properly, I'm not troubling myself with many hard-to-eat fruits. I'm like, what, I got fucking... No, fuck it. So, like, the idea of getting something like a pineapple, done. I wouldn't even try it. Because I'm like, the idea of getting, like, some fibrous shit in my teeth and not only get it out...
That's a good point.
And then, like, inevitably getting, horrible cavities and losing your teeth in a place with no dentists. Yeah.
Like your skull.
Fucking eat apples, bitch.
Your skull
like,
rotting.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I feel like there's fruits for a reason that are really easy to grow and, like, serve all your nutritious needs. I don't know if pomegranates even grow there. We're talking too much about the pomegranates. Because Morgan wheels her out, and she's like, this is bullshit. This is playtime. Who are we fucking kidding here?
And she's right.
What's happening? She's totally right.
But... the same thing could be said about Alexandria before they were done. Like, at the very least, you can't argue with the success of this colony. Yes. Whether it's run by Bozo the Clown or whatnot, they're doing better than Alexandria did.
At the moment, yeah, I don't know why I eventually write down I hate Carol. It's because Carol's all pissed about this situation, but Carol was literally like she didn't want to kill anymore. She didn't want to live the like lifestyle or something like that. And she's now presented with a place where you could, for potentially a long time, just fool yourself into thinking that you can just live this normal, quiet life where you don't have to kill. And she immediately rejects it as like false and fake and shitty and all that stuff.
And while it's run by Looney Tunes, it's also run by someone who's not a sadistic murderer idiot.
Yes.
Like, for the first time ever, a society looks like you could actually live here.
And while she's talking to Morgan about how much this place is like bullshit, like kids walk by in like flannels and beanies and shit. Like we're just chilling.
There was like a class being taught at one point.
There's a choir. They go to some like she goes to see like the laundry, and there's like several lines with laundry and folding, and things are happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like if she wanted to be the person who doesn't have to, like, I don't know, she might.
If she wants to be the person she says she wants to be, this is the place to be.
Okay, like that's how I feel. I'm starting to poke holes in my own thing, right? Where she's gonna assume that it's gonna eventually fail, and then like she'll have to kill people anyway, so she has to.
Yeah, but a moment's rest is better than not having a moment's rest.
Yeah, no, that's 100% where I'm coming from with the I'm sick of Carol, because we spent so many episodes ever since they got kidnapped by that chick. And she had the little like cross thing, and she sharpened it, and we as the audience were like, is she really buying into this, or is this just like a fake thing? And it's like, oh shit, she's serious, and it kept getting like worse/better, worse/better until. But she kept pushing like, I have to be alone. I can't be around people because eventually I will have to kill other people to save these people. So I guess I see why she just wants to be alone or something like that. But again, this is a nice place. I feel like she's looking for like a nice life.
It seems like a super nice place where they're not even asking a lot of you, and whether there's some sort of dark, twisted secret, which I don't believe there's going to be. I think this place is very much on Front Street, like you, like that's what it is.
I picked up zero. Like, the only dark secret stuff is the stuff that we're about to get into because of the pig hunt.
Yes, but even their dark secret stuff, which is them paying off the saviors to not kill them.
Right.
That's not so bad either. Like, if your dark secret is like that someone's threatening to kill you and you're dealing with them peacefully, that's not so bad.
Well, and Carol doesn't quite know this yet, but that's the best deal in town. Like, everyone else has signed up for this plan, and they're just getting like a shittier deal or whatever. Because the Hilltop too was like bled dry by this, and they tried to do their thing or whatever while Carol was
But because
gone.
this community seems big enough, they're thriving and still paying off this craziness.
And that's Negan's plan. Should we take a minute, I guess, because we talked about this at the top more, but like I thought about this more while I was folding laundry or something like that.
All right, Carol.
Because at some point you said, everyone does laundry. At some point you said something about like we've talked about people or like Negan's like Negan's plan is very logical.
Yes.
Okay. But, like, the cruelness and the sadisticness and, like, the shittiness of it, I think, is what I'm bouncing off of in terms of, like, we should do that or something like that. But if you think about it...
We should do that or shouldn't do that?
Shouldn't do that, right? Because it's logical, but I was like, ugh. But then it was like, okay, like, if your community was like, okay, we're going to spend 100% of our effort on, like, farming and doing, like, that sort of shit, someone could come in with very little effort and just, like, take you over and, like, make you do all their shit. So you might be like, okay, there has to be some sort of balance here. Let's spend like 30% of our effort on like defense and like training and weaponry and all that stuff, and like the rest will be farming. But then if some other community spends 50% of theirs on like army versus like home stuff, they could potentially come in and like beat you, right? That's like you have 12 guys and they have like 30 guys or whatever. Like that's not going to work either. So I think Negan's thing might literally just be we spend 100% of our energy on like this.
Yeah. On
like intimidation, enforcement was a good word that you used because it's kind of like a mafia. Like, oh, I got a nice community here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. You know, if you just give us some shit, we'll be all right or whatever the fuck, you know.
There are the worker ants, and this man here is an army ant, and he's like, bitch, you gonna feed me.
You're going to feed me. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think that the level of cruelty that he's displayed, though, while probably necessary, is what's going to... Because I feel like eventually...
But the cruelty is only necessary at the beginning when you're meeting somebody new to let them know, you mean business, don't fucking start shit with me. Yeah. Or if someone acts up on you. And that makes sense to me.
I don't feel like Negan ever lends you 20 guys to help you, like, build a dam or something like that. Like,
no, never.
Like if you wanted to do this for real, you'd be like, well, okay, I need the this leg of my operation, because that's what would happen in like a mafia movie. Like one of the main characters whose name's on the poster would have to go into the local gang and like fix something and be like, let's go take them out or whatever, and then smooth this over so that our dudes can run this thing, you know.
In this scenario, though, I definitely feel like if the Hilltop ever started to fuck with the kingdom and like and if they weren't both under Negan's control, if it was some outside service, they'd be like, Negan, we need help. These people are trying to take our food. Oh, and Negan would kill the fuck out of them.
Right.
So, like, they are offering a protective services, and I imagine if they were like, Negan, our wall went down, the zombies are coming, he'd probably defend his food.
I was gonna say, I would hope so. We haven't seen either way either, and we've only seen Negan probably at his cruelest and like most flamboyantly cruel like way to be or whatever. But yeah, I feel like without the carrot to just have the stick, eventually it's just this huge empire of people that hate you. And unless you can literally hold it, that's how empires like fall down or whatever, right?
He can hold it because the most limited resource people have is people.
Yes, I mean he has held it too.
That's why I could see him being cruel for losing 30 because you only have so many. And you're not getting more for 18 years, like, assuming you're trying to breed people here. So he has to viciously protect what he has because that's his only... Because if there's potentially 10 more villages out there that he controls, if all of them rose up at the same time, he'd probably be fucked.
Exactly.
But probably not, because people don't actually matter. Machine guns matter.
Yeah, we don't know what the shape of things is yet or whatever, but... No, this is an interesting sociological study in like post or pre whatever, because this is how shit used to be a long, long time ago, and now we're back to there because of how the zombies whatever. But we go out on a pig hunt.
Yeah.
The main thing about this that I wanted to point out, because we're already talking about Negan, was pigs can eat zombies, and then it's safe to eat the pigs. Is that for real?
Or not?
Oh God. Okay.
So we don't know. We've never seen a zombie animal.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah.
So it's presumed safe that it doesn't cross barriers.
Right.
But it's not necessarily safe to eat the pigs. That could be their long haul plan. Feed them zombie fucking meat. But you don't eat the inside of the stomach anyway, so...
Well, because obviously, so you just watched the episode.
Yes.
He says, you just watched the episode, I hope. Otherwise, this is weird to watch this first. But, like, they feed the pigs one more walker right before they gut them or slaughter them, whatever it is. But he says, like, I want their bellies full of rot before we go do this or whatever the fuck. And I was like, really? Why? Because they're kind of like cut here. I don't know if they remove the stomach anyway, or they just give them the whole thing. They just whatever, skin them, string them up.
I don't know.
I'm not
kind
sure
of
weird.
Process.
But if you can use zombies. Like ranching all of a sudden skyrockets to like the top of my list of like post-apocalyptic activities if it's safe to eat animals that have eaten zombies, and pigs will eat anything. If you watch Snatch, I think it is, or Lockstock, whichever one of those ones has that, pigs will like clean a fucking corpse down.
Never trust a man with a pig farm.
Yeah, so like fucking, that's perfect. That's awesome. Pigs are the answer. Let's move forward with this pig plan, people.
No, pig's pretty boss. So I'm interested to see how that goes, because it could be like a ticking time bomb of like, rotten meat, like trying to get them, which would be great if you're trying to get them from the inside as you turn a large portion of his men into zombies just from eating this fucking tainted meat, which could be great. Or it could just be as simple as, I wanted them heavier and it's insulting to them, fuck them, so I have them eat this shit.
Or like when they're, when they're like full, they're easier to like deal with and corral or something, who knows. But he makes a comment like, we're only halfway free or something like that.
Yes, and that was the moment I knew that they were under. And when I saw that the van going away, or the truck, I was like, it's going to give those pigs away.
Yeah.
And then when it came back, I'm like, oh, it's not. And then it was last night, I was like, oh, it was just slaughtering them. It is giving them away.
Right. He says, where are they going? Somewhere else. And then it comes back. But the minute they turned off, I was already thinking like, oh, they're doing Negan stuff. And then I just kept thinking that for the whole time, because it's just to be like, oh, I guess they're doing Negan stuff. Zeke wants Morgan to train young Benjamin.
Yes.
Who do you think Benjamin is? Do you think it's really who he says he is, or someone else?
The son of somebody. Why do you think he's somebody we met?
Not literally him, but just like, so Zeke has extra motivation for wanting this young man to like survive.
Well,
I don't know if he just literally.
He said he sent his dad to death.
Yeah. I don't know if it's literally just that or if it's actually his son or something like that. That's why I was a little like, wait, what's going on?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think it was just that. He's from his dad. It was probably a wrong call. I do think the Saviors killed him. I don't think that he died in a zombie attack.
I think either the Saviors killed them or the Saviors took them.
Oh, maybe.
He said 8 men didn't make it out. And I'm like, 8 men didn't make it out. It's like we don't have any bodies. And we're all men, like capable, able-bodied folk and all that stuff. That's what threw me a little bit about Negan's like first appearance is, once we find out who dies, he took out some of the most able-bodied people on Rick's like crew, which I kind of get. but also seems weird from the perspective of like trying to get, stuff
well,
done.
Assuming he wasn't trying to get more. Well, it's kind of like why you kill when you invade a village, you kill the baby boys and you kill the men because you don't want the boys to raise up to come back after the people that killed their fathers.
Yeah.
So I understand that because you want to keep people in line. So killing their best and brightest is probably going to make them not able to retaliate properly.
Yeah, it's a fine line because I'm far too concerned with like efficiency and like
will they survive to be able to make my food?
Well, because I want half of your shit. So if you get twice as much because you got like the ability to to get more, I get twice as much. Like it's this whole like fucking thing.
Yeah.
So part of me is like but in these unique circumstances on account of all the murder, I'm kind of like okay, I guess
it's a risk versus reward thing.
Yeah.
I would rather have 1 pound of food and not ever die
and always
than
get
have 10 pounds of food and maybe die.
Right, and get 10 pounds of food for a little while until they've worked out their plan, and now it's an ambush this time, and you knock them down again, but they like kill one of your dudes, and you're like, fucking come on with the numbers here, God.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. So giving pigs to Negan, I wrote down, that makes sense.
Yep, 8 pigs by my count. That's better than last time. And that'll do.
And someone threw in a comment like, if this happens again, he's going to have to go first. I don't know if they meant Benjamin or the other guy or what they were talking about.
The kid, the guy that got that
is that who they meant?
Blocked the punch and threw the punch, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say that. So like a little fight breaks out, as often does, because a bunch of Negan's men are these fucking scumbag assholes.
Yeah.
Which is good. I don't know why that's good.
It's kind of what you want.
Ugh, I guess.
If you want someone to do dirty work, you want dirty people.
I want dirty people, but I need people like Simon and like the leader of like this, and that's why he makes them the leader, I guess, because they're like, cut it out, stop it, fucking come on, they've been good, let's get out of here. Like, just be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We don't need to start shit for no reason.
But you also want dumb people that are going to follow you, and that's them. And
100%.
And they're disposable because like they're fucking idiots. They're not bringing anything to the table other than the fact that they can punch people.
Yeah, they seem to be at the rank that befits their temperament or whatever the fuck. Zeke throws in a little bit about secrets being a burden that I wrote down, just because that's what made me
all
think.
This is and that
well,
the deaths and whatnot.
The 8 didn't make it out alive. He feels really bad. It's really important to me that Benjamin doesn't die. I was like, all right, I think that tells me that there's a
there's going to be a flashback to that boy's father going, just take care of my son Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And then maybe he gets Lucille'd.
Ooh, right? Because that could be like I don't know how long they've so. Zeke, who I'm going to call him from now on as just Zeke, has kept this whole deal with Negan's men a secret from the kingdom.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it could it even have been that long. It's like striking to me that he's able to keep it like a secret because a bunch of stuff, like you're saying, must be continuously going out to them. So it seems weird. But so maybe
that's what makes me think they must have so much stuff.
Yeah.
Or there's like a side plantation or crop. Or he said. The thing where he met Carol later is like this used to be an arboretum or whatever, and now it's a private garden or something. Maybe all the fruit and vegetables he's growing are aside from the towns, and maybe all the meat he's catching is things he's catching outside of the place.
Well, and we're saying half because Negan has said to Rick and some other people half. The deal might not be half for these guys. They just want this many pigs, and he goes, "Oh shit, that's a lot of pigs. Good job," or whatever. Like there's like an order to be filled or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So we'll see.
But then we get to the point where Carol's piecing out. She's healed up.
Yep.
She makes the
bed.
bed.
Which doesn't make any sense. She can't be healed up. It's been 3 days. She was shot 4 times or something.
I don't even remember what even happened to her. Was she literally shot?
I thought she got shot in each leg and each arm.
Really?
I thought she was like what do they call that? It's like the
something
Irish
horrible.
Happy Days or something.
Okay, I don't.
There's some like there's like the Italian bow ties when you cut someone's neck when you kneecap and
Colombian
like,
necktie.
Whatever.
Sure. No, I know what you're getting at. I don't think that's what happened. I think he was I don't know. I don't think that's what happened. I don't know.
Either way, she was shot
damage
multiple
on
times.
like the one side or something like that. But it was being shot.
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was just an episode ago. Not 2.
It was like a year ago.
Yeah.
It was the other season. No, I forget if she got like stabbed or shot. I assume it was shot though. But then
I thought I could have sworn it was like left shin, right shin, arm, and then like Morgan either stopped him right then, or he got the last arm. I forget. I thought he got all 4 limbs with a bullet.
Something was happening, right? And he was fucking with her, and she was like, "Just let me die." Yeah. She got shot in the shoulder. I thought.
Bang.
Definitely.
Bang. Bang.
So had I only seen this episode, which is the case, because apparently I've forgotten the previous stuff, I would have thought that she was just maybe stabbed in the side. Because a gunshot wound brings with it all these things about like getting the bullet out and all this stuff, which didn't seem to be addressed, but off camera.
She's so skinny, it's always through and through.
It's always a through shot with her. But she's piecing out. This is where I actually wrote down, I hate Carol. Because I was expecting her to steal all this stuff and like do all these things and then start to have little things with people or Morgan or someone and something to happen and for her to not just literally be like, I want to leave. And something more kind of does happen because she runs into Mr. Ezekiel.
Yep, gets a private one-on-one with him, and he levels her, shoots the shit about exactly how it is.
Right.
And you find out that he's not some weird thespian, whatever. Well, he's an actor, but he's not an olden day loon.
Right.
He's playing the part. He was a zookeeper. That's where he got this tiger.
Yep. He saved the tiger's life, and the tiger owes him a life debt. So now they travel around, smuggling.
This tiger's part Wookiee. Yeah.
It's like what? That's amazing. And like literally as if they were like and I know now that they were, but as if they were setting me up to feel these feelings. He said like she could pull the leash right out of my, she could pull my arms clean off if she wanted to, but you don't, or whatever. And I was like, oh fuck.
But she hasn't yet.
Okay, right. Go, because like I don't like while I'm watching that like intro scene, I'm like, this is Bush League sci-fi original bullshit. You can't just have a tiger. That's insane or whatever. And now it's like the only way you could possibly have a tiger kind of makes sense in like the real world, fake real world that we're in now. So I was super, and drops the accent, just tells her all the shit like that.
I don't know why, assuming he came from a zoo area, why wouldn't you take up your camp in a zoo? That sounds like the perfect place. There's all those pits and fucking things keeping animals in. You could live in those and it would keep zombies out.
Yeah, and like you said, we've seen no zombie animals. It would have the infrastructure right to keep animals and with like access to feed them and take them and like eat them and shit. So I don't know where the zoo is. Maybe that's part of the problem.
I'd like to see that. I think a zoo would have been a better place to be, period. Like, I'm starting to think that might be my zombie fallback place.
A zoo, yeah.
A zoo. It seems pretty good.
Yeah, because the prison even worked out pretty good, and a zoo's kind of like a prison.
A zoo, a zoo is way more powerful. A prison is like chain link fence that's tall. A prison is made to keep bears in. Like, fuck.
Or let's just say tigers.
Yeah.
Right, with those gigantic fences because they can
lions.
Jump all
Oh my.
Way. So they have a long talk. He drops the accent, exclamation point. He was a zookeeper.
Yeah, you finally realize who he is.
Which
so
is crazy.
He's kind of like, all right, maybe we make a deal. You don't leave. You just stay on the outskirts.
He says you can leave, but not leave. I know I sound crazy, but just come on. Where there's life, there's life. That can't be what he said. Is that what he said?
Sure.
Write this down wrong.
I didn't remember that exact quote, but it's possibly said that. So there's a house they first pass right when they get through the gates into their property, and there's a house with a zombie in it, and it's still like on site, but it's at the very distance of the site, so she's not like in the camp. She's kind of free on her own. And
it's the exact same house that in the intro.
Yes,
Morgan carved something into the thing. Yeah, Carol saw through the window, and that was the first zombie that became the Unsby, and she thought was like a person for a second.
Yeah.
And
he flips up.
Morgan put the thing up, and
you've got mail.
They didn't show what he carved into the post.
An arrow.
Okay, I thought it was an arrow, but like
it's kind of like a greater than sign. It's really just like pointing the direction he came to go to leave.
The way the shot was framed, I assumed they were gonna cut tight and show me more, so I wasn't paying attention. I was like watching other shit or something like that. But it's that house. She goes there and is gonna like live. She's making a fire. She's chilling out.
The last shot, there's a knock at the door and a roar.
Yep.
And that's our king with his tiger. You really have to try these pomegranates.
You really have to try one of these. And she smiles. And then I was like, are they fucking? Because that is what I've been saying. Literally.
About every person that ever talked to Carol?
No. When Michonne first came down towards the end of the last season, Michonne comes down in like a towel. And she's like teasing Carl, and like Rick's like, well, and all that stuff, and I'm like, are they fucking? Like, what's? And it turned out
Carl and her?
No, it's Rick and Michonne.
Rick and Carl?
Rick and Carl, yes. It turned out they weren't fucking yet, but they were gonna be fucking or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. And now that's just the outer, expression of that same feeling that I always have when they start doing things like this.
No, it'll be interesting.
Like when Daryl was all like, no, I'm eating some peach schnapps with like Beth. I was like, are they fucking? Or something like that, because it becomes, because it's either hilarious and like inappropriate or a legitimate question, where here I think they might be fucking.
Too bad Beth died.
R.I.P.
I thought Daryl and her was a good couple.
Isn't she far too young for him, or it's the apocalypse and we don't care?
I don't think anything matters in the apocalypse.
I don't think it does either.
Who's the judge? And she's over 21.
Is she?
Wasn't she?
I didn't think so.
No.
I thought her character was pretty young still.
I took it like
her real age is of age because everyone checks that.
No,
shit!
I thought she was the youngest of that group, but I thought she was 23. Maggie's 29 or something like that.
I feel like everyone's supposed to be a lot younger than their actors are or something like that.
Oh, I think the actor's 42.
Beth's actor?
No, Maggie's.
I was gonna say I think Beth's actor's younger than.
Nah, Beth is probably 27.
I think she's very young. I don't know.
Fact check while you talk.
I will talk though because I literally got the vibe that he was extra motivated to want to keep her around because he's kind of into
he
her.
Likes her. Yeah,
and I feel because when Daryl and Beth were going to be a thing, people were also that was in the middle of some Daryl and Carol stuff.
Yes, it was.
And Daryl and Carol I thought did fit because when Daryl and
they did at the time.
Yeah.
And then she changed.
Okay, well I was gonna say what do you mean something happened? No, because Daryl and Carol, I thought Carol the actors and actresses are probably either very similar in age or he's older than her or whatever. But on the show, especially season 1, he was so baby faced and stuff like that. That was still my image of him. So when they introduced Carol and when Carol and Daryl started bonding, I thought oh, this is so interesting because the badass and this older woman or whatever the fuck.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a number?
Still checking. 31. Bam, suck a bitch.
What?
Beth, 31.
That doesn't make any. Who am I thinking of then?
You're thinking of Beth.
No, I mean who's there was someone on one of these shows who was barely of age or something like that.
The Schnapps girl?
Not Beth. I must be thinking of someone else. I remember checking someone's age and being holy shit, she's extremely young. But obviously
probably
not her.
look at the flowers.
Well, no, that's a literal young girl. The point is,
she was 29.
She was 110. She's an alien who was raised in low gravity. No, I don't. Daryl.
31.
Daryl and Carol was interesting, or whatever the fuck. But now, because Carol is kind of older, or whatever, and Zeke looks the way he does and all that stuff, I feel like they actually look.
They'd fit.
They look like appropriate to me or whatever. So I was this could be.
You think his hair is fake?
I almost hope so.
It struck me in one scene where I was I think that's all fake.
He's just got
kind of how fake
thing.
Michonne's hair is.
Oh, like real fake or just fake on the show? What do you mean?
Fake for the show. Like if you saw him in the streets, he would have a crew cut.
I was gonna say that's not his hair, but I thought you were asking is it fake on the show? He's gonna go all right and take it off.
It's real on the show.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that can't be his hair. That would be crazy. I feel yes, he just has a super tight whatever, and this is just a thing on his head, or
like an Indian
that.
headdress.
Yes,
literally. Any final thoughts on this episode?
Just a little thing to give us the sneak peek of next episode.
Oh, sure. Let's
if you don't mind.
Let's hear it.
Well, there's not much to give away except that it appears next episode will be Daryl focused.
Awesome.
And we will not find out anything else again about so maybe they only showed us the Daryl scenes. I only watched it once. I try not to rewind just to get the authentic television experience. But everything I saw looked like Daryl and Negan's you don't scare easily. I like that and all that stuff, and you see Dwight doing a sideways look oh shit, Negan likes Daryl better, what the fuck, and all that stuff.
Every time you say Dwight, I think of Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Yes.
Every single time.
What is he farming? Radishes? What is
Beets.
Beets. It's red. Still fits.
So that's still so my prediction was not
Dwight Schrute
not completely right, but I had a feeling we would learn nothing about the things that already happened, and that works by learning about Daryl next episode. I still want to predict the episode after that is Alexandria, and it's the same day that they all left, and we still learn nothing.
And but who's
that gives us 4 episodes.
Who's in Alexandria though? It's the preacher guy, right?
The preacher.
And then towards the end of the episode, some of them get back in that car.
Yeah.
And they just start talking or whatever. But then it cuts away. It doesn't show that either. I really hope that's what happens.
I would like that. Well, I'm excited about a Daryl episode though. Daryl is my boy, and I do want to learn more about Negan.
No, everyone loves Daryl, and this is happening. It looks like in where they're at. kind of looked prison-y almost, honestly, but that's because Daryl's kind of like being, detained or something like that. He looks like he's in his cell. He looks like he's not happy, and they're fucking with him to try to get him to like break him and to make him into their dude. You almost want Negan to be like, what we have here is failure to communicate or something. Like he seems to be like the warden who checks on him.
I didn't know you like to get wet.
Yeah, like he seems to be that sort of relationship, but. I look forward to still not knowing whether or not Maggie falling down after 5 steps meant that, what's her name was going to take her and just not try to go kill Negan, or if they're actually going to go try to kill Negan, which makes no sense. But I can't wait for 3 more weeks to find out what happened there.
All right, guys, so until next week when we watch episode 3 of Season 7, don't die in a fire.